Alright, everyone, and welcome back, or welcome if you are new here. I'm Christina, aka That Variety Nerd, and today we are diving into some more Sims 4 base game renovation goodness. We're here with the Parkshore house, which is again in that weird little nook of the ritzy not apartments. What am I thinking? I'm thinking of like, city living or whatever, in the very wealthy part of Willow Creek. But to be fair, much of Willow Creek is pretty wealthy in general. Oh yeah, so this was weird. When I was recording this, there was something going on with the fencing. I don't know what was going on there. I think we worked around it as best as we could, but for whatever reason, diagonal fences were just not cooperating. So that happened. But anyway, getting back to this, just, grab your snacks, grab your choice of beverage, and just kick back and relax as we dive into this renovation. This one was a pain, as you might have guessed by this point. We sort of replaced a lot of these columns, with ones that were smaller and made much more sense. So that's what we did there. So again, we're fixing the exterior before we go into the interior a little bit more. So that way we can sort of just, we're going to navigate this one. This one was a toughie, but we added a little bit more room. We included a little bit of a grandma, grandpa, grandparent suite on the first floor because you know what? They need first floor access ideally. Because, as they're getting up in age, they might not want to be using the stairs all the time, that sort of thing. So we made this, into a quaint and cozy, just little house. We have some. It's primarily just like a big white house, very traditional, like much more traditional than what we were all envisioning, or at least what I was envisioning, I should say. But I liked it. I like how it was really quaint. We have some splashes of yellow on the outside, to really make things nice and cozy and quaint. So yeah, we kind of gave up on the diagonal fence because, again, for whatever reason, it wasn't working. So we just had this big white house. I don't know how else to describe it. Very regal, very fancy, that sort of thing. So yeah, we got one more renovation, at least in my bulk recordings with Sims 4 renovations, but rest assured, there's going to be more coming up soon. So I'm thinking my hope is, and I feel like this is a very tangible goal, is to at least get through the renovations for Willow Creek before the pack comes out, before Snowy Escape comes out. Again, time recording this, it is October 26th, not the actual recording of this house and renovation, but of the voiceover. So I don't really know when this will be out offhand. Probably sometime late October, early November at the rate we're going at. So yeah, I want to do some more renovations as we approach the new pack, just so that way, I can say that I got at least another world done instead of playing the Star Wars pack, and I haven't gotten the Star Wars pack. It's 50% off, and the completionist in me wants to get it, but no. No! Like, here's the thing. At least when we had at least when we had Katy Perry sweet treats, at least we had, like, it was at least themed, you know what I mean? Like, it was just mainly like decorative objects. Like, you could live without the pack. And it was like, even if you had the pack installed, like, you at least had some stuff that you could include in your world. Whereas with like Star Wars, it's just like a bunch of rabbit holes. Like, at least you had a huge amount of stuff in the Katy Perry Sweet Trees pack, and you knew going into it that, and it was also much more timely because, like, if the Star Wars pack would have came out a year or two ago, it may have been like slightly more received, like better, but even then, I still don't think it would have been the case because of the fact that, well, Katy Perry was really popular when that pack came out in the late 20, like the late 2000s, early 2010s. Like, that was like peak, like, Katy Perry right there. Like, I remember just like her music was everywhere at the time. So it was much more timely, like more people were kind of behind it, and like, we weren't thinking much of it. We just wanted the Katy Perry Sims pack. But they also had like a little bit more of a working thing. Like, I believe Katy Perry was on some of the ads for Showtime. I could be super McFreaking wrong. So we're gonna do a quick fact check right here because that's how we roll around here. Am I right? Right. So yeah, anyway, I remember Katy Perry being on some Sim stuff. Let's see here. Sims 3. Yeah, there we go. There was also like some Simlish songs from Katy Perry as well, but yeah. So Katy Perry had her own Sweet Treats pack, but she was also on the Showtime pack to a certain degree too. So you got like a poster and you got some extra attires. So like it wasn't just like a one-stop shop sort of thing. Like it made somewhat logical sense. Like, oh, okay, we're partnering up with Katy Perry. Here's some extra attires, to go with the Showtime pack, which was music and bands. Well, I no, bands came in with late night, my bad. So yeah, it came in with, the magic stuff. Different. It came with like, oh god, it came with like performances. That was kind of the goal of it. Like you got to go on tour and stuff like that, but it was super glitched out if I remember correctly. But yeah, Showtime was a pretty good time if I remember that correctly. The world too was really cool. Like it was one of the smaller worlds if I remember correctly, but it was still pretty decent. But yeah, so Katy Perry had her own stuff pack entirely, and there was the collector's edition of the Katy Perry show of not the Katy Perry Showtime pack, but the Showtime pack that featured Katy Perry. So that was what happened there. So that one came out March of 2012, which I remember that I was like in high school at the time. I was like just about to finish up I think my sophomore year. So I was really excited. This was right around spring break or something like that if I remember correctly. But overall I enjoyed it for what it was. Um but yeah, it was very buggy, but it was certainly a good time. So yeah, it had Katy Perry themed objects, hairstyles, venue based on Teenage Dream because that was the album that was out around that time. It was a great album. I still listen to. Oh God, it's 10 years old. Oh my God. Okay, we're having an existential crisis IRL right now. But yeah, again, it made much more sense because with Showtime, you got to do like a lot of the performances and stuff like that. You got to be like a magician. You got to perform on stage. That made sense to me why they would partner up for Katy Perry for that type of a pack. If you had Showtime, you could probably get the Katy Perry Sweet Treats pack. Granted, I don't know why you would want that pack in the first place because, oh my god, that thing was a nightmare. Like, just, even at the time it looked like a nightmare, like nightmare fuel, because I'm like, where would I put this in my average, like, Sims house in The Sims 3? But, like, when Showtime was out, maybe even a bit of Late Night, because Late Night was just a weird pack. I don't know. It was a fun pack and a weird pack, but it was a great pack. Like, I could see that, or if you wanted like a few themed objects potentially, but like outside of Showtime, I couldn't really see a use for even really any of that stuff with the Katy Perry Sweet Treats pack. But like, you get my point. Like, that was way much more detailed and in depth. And like, if you didn't have it, it was okay. You know what I mean? But like with the Star Wars pack, oh my God, then there was this whole conundrum with the advertising too with the Star Wars pack. At least with the Katy Perry one, you knew that they had a bit of a partnership sort of deal. Like that was at least transparent. But for this, oh man, like apparently there was like a really bad glitch a little bit ago where people were like trying to pre-order the new Snowy Escape pack and like they were just like, "Oh yeah, well you're missing this pack. You are required to have the Sims 4 Journey to Batu." And it was like, "Oh my god, why?" Like glitch or not, like ethically standing, like you want to get that fixed as soon as possible. And it may not, and it may be like borderline legal. I don't know what the legal issue is, and I mean, I don't know if what the legal side of it would say on that sort of issue, but I think ethically, like that's just not okay because, like, glitch or not, that's manipulating your player, the consumer, the customer, the person that's paying to get your expansion pack and everything in your game packs and your stuff packs. The consumers for The Sims content, like that's misleading. Like think about it this way. Like I kind of picture myself as, okay, so I started playing The Sims right around the time that The Sims 3 came out. So like it was right before it came out. I remember this very clearly. So around like 2008 I started. Like around 2008, 2009. I didn't have The Sims 3 right away, so that didn't happen until around high school. But I remember playing The Sims 2 quite a bit and some of the Sims stuff that was for PS2 as well, since we had a PlayStation 2. But like, yeah, it was really bizarre. So The Sims is no stranger to partnering up with certain packs or certain things. Like for example, Mosquito. Like none of us really cared for Mosquito. Mosquito. Well, I mean to be fair, that's what I call the pack. But at the very least, it came with some cool build buy objects. I never used really any of the cast stuff, which was probably what it was intended to be there for. But at least it had some gameplay that was like actually decent. You know, like some cameras and, you know, a new career. And you had some cool furniture. The windows, especially, are pretty cool. I use those windows quite a bit. So it had some kind of value to it, but when am I going to use anything from the Journey to Batu in my Willow Creek suburb or even like in city living? Like would I probably want like, you know, a droid cleaning up after my Sims? I mean, sure, that wouldn't feel super out of place in San Myshuno, but like, what if they're stuck on that island in Windenburg? Like, that droid's not gonna last long. It's gonna get like frostbite or overheated real fast if it's in Oasis Springs, probably. I don't know. I'm guessing. But yeah, so I don't know. Like to me, like I saw some comparisons to Katy Perry from like The Sims 3 and I'm like, "Wait, this was two very different things." Like I actually had to go back and do some homework on this. So like I remember that being a thing, but like, you know what I mean? It was a very weird thing. Like I remember the Katy Perry stuff because that album came out like not too long after the Sims 3 base game came out, like within a year or so after. And like Katy Perry was like the top artist, like during that time period, like the early 2010s. So, like, it made logical sense. And it was much more transparent. Like, yeah, this is, you know, a partnership, this is a deal. Like, you could put two and two together there. And it made sense. Like, okay, here's a collector's edition of Showtime. Cool, that makes sense. Katy Perry's a singer. My sim can be a singer and perform on stage. That makes logical sense. Star Wars Batu just seemed out of nowhere, and I don't want to know what that pack is going to do to anyone's game. So, in case if you're wondering, that one's going to be the only one that's going to be excluded from the save file, probably, unless if I get it at like probably 75% off at the rate we're going at. I'm just saying they're losing out on some money there. I'm just saying. Like, they must be doing something like that. You know what I mean? They must be doing something. They must be doing not so great sales wise if a game pack is already 50% off because usually they wait at least 6 months to a year before it's discounted like that, like at their semi annual sales, right? And so that's what I'm thinking, like the sales must not be doing too great either. I mean, the reception was, oh man, we saw that reception. That was not great. That was not a good time. But like it was a whole thing. You know what I mean? It's sort of I don't know how else to word it. Like I feel like I've been rambling on way too much about this whole thing. But just Batu just got me heated. I have no shame in admitting that. But thankfully, we've got a brand new expansion pack that quite frankly I am quite excited for. Dudes, I have not been excited for a pack this entire year up until this point. And I'm like, well, with everything going on in the world, the only time we're going to be able to go sled riding is in The Sims. So it's good timing. I can pretend to go sled riding and go on vacation. Sweet. I mean, it makes sense to me. Yay. Oh my god. But yeah, hopefully you all are enjoying my incessant rant on the Batu pack and also kind of reliving some Sims 3 days stuff. Like, I would love to get to a point in my life where I could have a little gaming console, like, well, not a console, but like, you know my point. Like, I want a gaming PC at some point, or even like a legitimately, like, gaming laptop. You know, have a decent little setup going on, maybe have an extra monitor. You know, that sort of a setup, that sort of thing, nothing fancy and I could actually properly play The Sims 3 and, you know, get some more space going on and that sort of thing. Like, I'm always paranoid to get an external hard drive because I had one a while ago. And by the way, this is us play testing everything to make sure that things are working and that sort of thing. So, yeah, I want to get Sims 3 again but I'm gonna wait just a little bit more until everything goes on sale. Cause dude, I remember like Steam had a huge massive sale where like everything was like $100 or something like that. And I'm like, dude, that's like way more than like that's like way less than what my parents spent when everything first came out. Like, dude, I didn't even have all the stuff packs for The Sims 3. I just had the expansions, I think. But like you didn't need the stuff packs, which was what was great about it. And now it's like I enjoy the stuff packs to a certain degree. You know what I mean? Like it comes with some cool stuff, but that seems about it. But yeah, I have not talked about this entire build this entire time, but all you need to know is that there are a bunch of big bedrooms, a bunch of bathrooms. Everybody's got a bathroom in their bedroom, except for Grandma downstairs. But everything's all downstairs for grandma, so she can live her best life. Grandparents suite on the bottom floor, it's fine. You got to make their lives a little easier, that sort of thing. But hopefully you all enjoyed this, and a bit of a trip down memory lane as we talked about Katy Perry Sweet Treats and Katy Perry's Showtime Collector's Edition thing. Like, here's the thing, it wasn't its own separate thing, it actually meshed well with the other pack. So, like, you know what I mean? It meshed well with some of the extra stuff that was going on with The Sims 3 at that time, and it made much more sense. But something that does make sense is these before and after shots. Again, night and day difference, literally. But as you can see, it's much more freshened up. It's a lot more brighter and roomier, which I really think this place needed. It needed some love, it needed some extra attention. And it needed a classic feel to it, you know what I mean? But overall, I had a lot of fun with this one. These bigger houses gave me very much they just give me anxiety at this point. But you know what? We're gonna power through. We got one more. We got like two more, I think, to go. I have one more to record, but another one that's already about to be in the can. So there you have it. Anyway, around, I hope that you all have enjoyed this video. Again, if you like what you saw, stay tuned for some more Sims 4 renovation goodness. And we'll be covering the Sims 4 Snowy Escape Pack once it's out. So, there you have it. Either way around, thank you all so much for tuning in again. Leave a like, leave a comment, and let me know what you all want me to see next here in The Sims 4 in terms of renovations or Let's Play or whatever. But on that note, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, leave a comment, do all that fun stuff here on the channel, follow me on social media down below, and I will see you all around later. Bye, everyone.